Red Rising, Edwina, Regina, Wes Harris. Okay, let's get started here. Okay, they dropped the 384 for us, ladies and gentlemen. I told you that number would fall over and over and over again. I promised that number would show up and show out. It also fell again in DC. So there we have that number. And I told you to watch out for it. First, I said focus on my top 3 digits, which I promise my top 2 will manifest from 718 to 724 in North Carolina. I told you that my favorite number was due yesterday. I told you this yesterday. But I still see there's a lot of people who just refuse to believe. There you have it, 8491. "557, ladies and gentlemen. 557, 557. I said you would see this number manifest between, I said it would manifest on 720. So that was in a matter of hours. 394. I told you just yesterday, watch out for 394. I guaranteed it there. And 439, I guaranteed it would fall straight. Both times, 439 straight. I said, watch out for it, 716 to 723. I guaranteed you would see it in Georgia. And I also guaranteed 394 would make it and hit by the deadline date with proof between 714 and 720 being the last date. Yesterday was 720. "7974, over and over and over and over. I told you to watch out for that number. Big money pattern. Ladies and gentlemen, 9737 told me. I told you, numbers don't lie. People do. I told my VIP, look, watch out for this number between the dates 717 to 724. I guarantee you'll see it in Georgia. Ladies and gentlemen, conversation with 9577 told me, look, double $sign 7974 so the VIP will know how serious you are. 719 to 725. Only one day to get your return on your investment. Ladies and gentlemen, right there, 9774. Straight, ladies and gentlemen. Stop playing with me. Y'all better stop playing with me. 8626. I made a promise, a 5-star promise. You can't beat that type of information, ladies and gentlemen. I go above and beyond to make sure you're getting the best. This number dropped off in Ohio. I guaranteed it would. I said it would manifest between the dates 7/18 to 7/24. All you had to do was focus on my top 4 digits, which I promise my top 2 big money patterns would manifest 7/18, 7/24. 709, 790. I promised you would see that number between the dates 7/18 to 7/24. I guaranteed you would see it in Ohio. Ladies and gentlemen, all you had to do was focus on my top 4 3 digits, which I promise my top 2 big money patterns. Better stop playing with me. 559. I promised you would see that number in Michigan. How many people believe me? I put the only number with fire. I told you a 5-year-old can distinguish what a fire symbol looks like. 2578. I guaranteed 2578 would roll out for my VIP members. Oh, I did say watch out for it between the dates 7/17 and 7/24. Ladies and gentlemen, I said focus on my top 4 digits. 1, 2, 3. That's your number 3. I also guarantee number 3 would do what it did. How many people are believing? Two, 2485, 2485, ladies and gentlemen. I told you that you would see that number. I promised that number would fall. I told you just the other day that I was going to promise that number in the future, but you didn't want to believe me. I said, look, triple dollar signs will manifest 720. Yesterday was 720. 15 hours before the number debuted, I knew I provided it to the VIP to win with. 053, ladies and gentlemen, I told you, watch out for 053. Straight. I said it'd fall between 7:15 and 7:21. Yesterday was 7:20. I guaranteed you would see it in Tennessee. Boom, boom, boom. Going back to the drawing board, ladies and gentlemen, if you notice, I promised that number would fall. I said focus on my top 4 3 digits, which I promise my top 2 big money patterns will manifest 7/15, 7/21 in Tennessee. You better stop playing with me. You're 8812, ladies and gentlemen. 8812. Boom, 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 boom. I said you would see that number after 0397. 0397 right there. 0397 said, look, the very next number that will fall after me is 8812. I guaranteed you would see it in North Carolina, 1 hour. Better stop playing with me. Ladies and gentlemen, Michigan dropped 9073. I put triple $ 17 hours before the number debuted. I said, don't play with me. I said, I know what's going to happen. I promised it. I put it in writing, 719 to 726. One day, 719 to 726, triple $. Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, look at this right here. You're 255, you're 255, you're 255. I promised 255 would fall straight. 255 fell straight on that promise. I said, watch out for it between the date 719 to 725. I guaranteed you would see it in Florida. Only number on fire. Boom, boom, boom. Zero 067. I promise 067. You would see it. I said, watch out for it between the dates 718 to 724. I said, focus on my top 4 3 digits, which I promise my top 2 big money patterns will manifest 718 to 724 in Michigan, guaranteed. Number 1 number. Ladies and gentlemen, if you did your due diligence, you would have saw that I guaranteed that number would fall straight after 972 told me, look, it will manifest between the dates 718 to 724, guaranteed in Michigan. Ladies and gentlemen, all you had to do was focus on my top 4 3 digits, which I promise my top 2 big money patterns with fruition. 076 straight, ladies and gentlemen. Right there, ladies and gentlemen, 076. That's 3 times that I gave you that number. And I told you it would fall. But you didn't believe me. 6941. You will see 6941 in North Carolina. 2 states before, 2 states after. You're going to see it in New York. 2 states before, 2 states after. New Mexico, you will see it in New Mexico, 2 states before, 2 states after. And Florida, 2 states before, 2 states after. Okay, 6531, ladies and gentlemen, 6531. You will see that combination over and over and over again. You can start looking for it in Pennsylvania, South Carolina, North Carolina heavy, and DC. Don't leave out DC. Four, 2, 9, 0. That's a Michigan number. 1387, 1387. You will see 1387, ladies and gentlemen. Write that down. You're going to see that in Georgia, 2 states before, 2 states after. You're watching out for 8331, extremely strong for Delaware, Rhode Island. 2 states before, 2 states after. Don't leave out Pennsylvania. You will see 8153 over and over and over again. I told you I speak in code. Look for that in DC. 2 states before, 2 states after. You will see 3111. 2940, ladies and gentlemen, top 6 numbers right there for Michigan. I said watch out for it between the date 716 and 722. Ladies and gentlemen, I made a promise that that number would fall if you believed me, confirming that that number was going to make you a lot of money. The only number on fire. Congratulations to my VIP members who only invest in fire. That's one huge return on your investment, just going with the fire. I told you 719 to 725, guarantee in Michigan, promise the fire would fall. They dropped 4290. 7895-6840, 7895-6840. You will see these combinations, ladies and gentlemen. I need you to watch out for 8160, extremely, extremely strong. That number will fall today, tomorrow, and the next day heavy. You'll see it in Kentucky. 2 states before, 2 states after. Watch out for 7975, Ohio. 6795, Ohio. You can also see it in Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire. 4683. You will see 4683, Delaware. You'll see it in Iowa. You'll see it in Tennessee. 2 states before, 2 states after. Don't leave out Rhode Island. 6840, you will see. That's triple dollar signed. You'll see that in Iowa. 2 states before, 2 states after. Watch out for 7976 and 8668. Those are by way of Ohio. There's your 7595. I promised that number would make you money. This was Ohio. Hold on one second. We got to go back and double check this one here. Okay, 9577, 19 hours ago. There we go, right there. Okay. On 718, you got 9577 that fell. We should have had it down for the repeat, but we didn't. Georgia dropped it. 9577. We had 7597. Promised to make you money. So if you notice, there will be times where you will see a double imposed number. Five five two, 552. If you remember, I told you 552 would fall over and over and over again. 101 is on fire. 968059, you will see. You're going to see 461 over and over and over again. 326 and 079. Okay, we got your 559. We got that 8527. We have your 5428. We have your 053. We have your 8812. We called that 0397. We called the 255. We called the 076 straight. 4290 we called. 9577 we called. 744 044. 044, ladies and gentlemen, is on fire. Look for that in Tennessee. Look for that in North Carolina and Indiana for you flips and mirror people. You're watching out for 857, no matter what. You're watching out for 602. 602 is a Ohio number, 2 states before, 2 states after. You can run that safely wherever you see the sum of 8, 26, and 17. 138, ladies and gentlemen, you will see 138 over and over and over again. Look for that in North Carolina. You can see it in Indiana, Missouri, and New York. 709, ladies and gentlemen, I guaranteed you would see that number. It was also promised 097. These numbers are by way of Ohio, 2 states before, 2 states after. As you can see, I promised you would see 602 yesterday. I said, watch out for this number between the dates 715 to 721. I was specific. I said, focus on my top 4 3 digits, which I promise my top 2 big money patterns. The very first number dropped. 2496, ladies and gentlemen, you will see 2496 in New York. You will see 2496 in Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire. You will see it in Texas, 2 states before, 2 states after. Watch out for 9064. You will see that number no matter what. 8753 is a Georgia hookup, 2 states before, 2 states after. 9063, New Jersey, Iowa, Indiana, Delaware, 2 states before, 2 states after. 1264, you will see New York, DC, North Carolina, 2 states before, 2 states after. Your 9065, no matter what, New York, New Jersey, 2 states before, 2 states after. These numbers are by way of Georgia, 2 states before, 2 states after. Ladies and gentlemen, you will see 992. You will see 668 over and over and over again in Georgia. Ladies and gentlemen, 398. Next number on the chopping block, New York, Indiana, Kentucky, New Jersey. Watch out for 514, ladies and gentlemen. 514, extremely strong. 514 will fall straight, I promise it. Ladies and gentlemen, 586 is the next number up on your chopping block. You will see 586 in Georgia, heavy in Georgia. $768, ladies and gentlemen, 768. You will see 768 over and over and over again. Look for that in Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, Georgia. You're going to see it in Delaware, Virginia. In 785, ladies and gentlemen, 785 is guaranteed. You will see 785 in Virginia. You will see 785 in Missouri. 785 is a very strong combination for Florida. 2 states before, 2 states after. Don't leave out Tennessee. Texas either. You will see 932, ladies and gentlemen. 932 is extremely strong. Georgia. Those numbers are by way of Georgia. Here you have your 866, ladies and gentlemen. 866, double dollar signed as proof. You would see that combination. I said, watch out for that number between the dates 716, 723, double dollar sign guaranteed to fall in Georgia. 050, ladies and gentlemen, look for that in New Mexico. 2 states before, 2 states after. Also, don't leave out DC. You're going to see 597 no matter what. You're going to see 302 no matter what. You're going to see 295 guaranteed. You're going to see 737. 737. You should know when I put a a 3 digit, that's a double. When I put a 3 digit, that's a double in the top four, you should already know what's going to happen. $295, 737. You're going to see 104, triple dollar sign, 134, double dollar sign, guaranteed. 212, ladies and gentlemen, is on fire. And you should see a whole rash of doubles falling. So grab your favorite doubles that equate to 19, 10, and 1. So that's 100 right out the gate. And also, you want to go with 22, 4, and 13. 302, 302 straight, ladies and gentlemen. I promised that number would fall straight. It did. Watch out for 4598, ladies and gentlemen. You will see 4598 make its debut. 7767 will fall. 7767 will fall. Ladies and gentlemen, it is on fire. 7776. Ladies and gentlemen, 4385 you will see in Delaware. You're going to see it in Tennessee. You're going to see it in Georgia. 2 states before, 2 states after. $0598, ladies and gentlemen, you will see Delaware. You're watching out for 5342, extremely strong. 5342, Georgia. DC. 1980, Florida. Tennessee. 1980, I guarantee you will see in Kentucky. Watching out for 9558. You will see 9558 in New York. 2 states before, 2 states after. Watch out for quad 8s, quad 5s, and 5445. Those numbers are by way of North Carolina. 2 states before, 2 states after. 7321 is guaranteed. You're going to see 2321 on fire. Watch out for 1276. No matter what, triple dollar sign. 2341 you will see no matter what. 9980, Virginia. Look for it in Tennessee. Look for it in Kentucky. 2 states before, 2 states after. Don't leave out New Jersey. Watch out for 1765, North Carolina. And 4576, ladies and gentlemen, extremely strong combination. You will see that in North Carolina. 2 states before, 2 states after. And those numbers are by way of Florida, 2 states before, 2 states after, 818 and 883 on fire, 883 Texas, 883 New Jersey, 883 North Carolina. Ladies and gentlemen, 859 no matter what, Pennsylvania, 179 no matter what, alternate is 791. You will see 529 and 69 deuce. 628 no matter what. 380 is guaranteed with double dollar sign. I will be promising it in the future. Those are Florida. 179, 179. 179, I promised to keep that number straight. Promise was kept. Told you to watch out for that number between the dates 714 and 720. Guaranteed you would see it in Florida. Told you to focus on my top 4 3 digits, which I promise my top 2. Who's listening? 771-899. 899 is on fire. Ladies and gentlemen, 239 you will see. Your 239 is extremely strong. Watch that in Texas. 469, ladies and gentlemen, 469. I promise you'll see 469 in Iowa. Ladies and gentlemen, 103 is another promise number. I'll tell you, you'll see in Missouri, 2 states before, 2 states after, 206. All 3 numbers, 1, 2, 3, all 3 numbers fell the same day. Watch out for 874, Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, South Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, New York, D.C. 623, I keep telling you to watch out for 623. That number will be promised in the future. Those are Georgia numbers, 2 states before, 2 states after. I've given you 9063 before, so now I'm going to make it a no matter what combination. Watch out for quad threes. Watch out for 3000, 6663. 9039 is extremely strong. Look for that in New Jersey. Ladies and gentlemen, 3687, you will see 3687 over and over and over again. Look for that in Missouri. Look for it in Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire. 2 states before, 2 states after. 2, 4, 1, 5, 5, 4, 2, 1. That's Puerto Rico, Maryland, Iowa, Georgia. 2 states before, 2 states after. Watch out for 8039, Maryland, New Mexico, Puerto Rico, Missouri. 7063, Pennsylvania. 4520, Rhode Island. And 4520, ladies and gentlemen, I promise that number will show up and show out. Maryland, Puerto Rico, New Mexico. $9003, you will see. Watch out for 0603, you will see it. 6663, ladies and gentlemen, watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Extremely strong combination. 1254, number 1 number, ladies and gentlemen. I promised that number would fall. There's your 103. You know that moved up in status. I told you when they fall, I know they're going to keep falling. There's your 130 promised, promise kept. 255, that one number was promised, I do believe. 255, 255, 552 promised. 255, promise straight. 681, put that on your roster. 579, you will see 579 over and over and over again. Ladies and gentlemen, watch out for 874. How many times do I got to tell you the same number before you believe me? Ladies and gentlemen, you will see 943. Remember, we talked about 943 just yesterday. I told you a member called me up and we discussed that number. I told you that number would fall day after day, time after time. 349, 349, 349. Right there, ladies and gentlemen. Watch out for 7-9 deuce. It's coming back. 7-9 deuce. That's your Texas. Ladies and gentlemen, you will see 958, 958, 958, 958. Watch out for 958. Watch out for 578, which will be promised in the future. Ladies and gentlemen, there is your 588 straight for Texas. Six, 420, write that down. You see that number in Maryland, Puerto Rico, and Rhode Island. 2486, ladies and gentlemen, you will see that number in Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire. You're going to see 5317, ladies and gentlemen, Texas, 5317. You're going to see 2487, ladies and gentlemen. Very strong combination, 2487. Look for that number, Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, heavy. Also, don't leave out Iowa and Rhode Island. Ladies and gentlemen, you will see 1487, Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, heavy. 2485, ladies and gentlemen, you will see 2485 over and over and over again. I triple dollar signed it. We're not even going to talk about it. Watch out for your 2493. Watch out for your 64 deuce deuce. 2493 64 deuce deuce. And you can see those numbers in Missouri and New York. There's your 7351. I promised that number would fall. 6520, ladies and gentlemen. Watch out for that combination. Extremely strong. You will see 765 deuce. You will see 4313. Look for that in Georgia. Ladies and gentlemen, you will see 9820. Look for that in Virginia. And 9820, answer my call. Boom, boom, boom. You got 9020, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to see 9020. 2000 is Virginia. 2225. Watch out for 2225. Those are by way of Ohio, 2 states before, 2 states after. Ladies and gentlemen, you will see 1394, Rhode Island. You'll see it in Tennessee. New York, do not leave out New York. Do not leave out DC. Heavy and strong in those areas. Tennessee as well. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, your 9043. 9043 is Tennessee. 9043 is Florida, South Carolina. 2 states before, 2 states after. 2281 and 1822, New Jersey. Ladies and gentlemen, 9042, as you can see, I promised that number would fall. 7690, New Jersey. 2 states before, 2 states after. Watch out for 9044, ladies and gentlemen. You will get a rude awakening if you don't invest in that number. Indiana. 0709, you will see. Look for that in Florida. There's your 8212. Ladies and gentlemen, they dropped 1822 for us. Watch out for 664006 on fire. 364, you will see. 364 is double dollar sign. 024, triple dollar sign. 347. I promised you would see that number yesterday. 123. No matter what, 129, you will see. 195, you will see these combinations. Ladies and gentlemen, there's your 123, triple dollar sign. I promised it would fall. 123. 6 hours before it dropped, I made sure my VIP was on it. 345. Ladies and gentlemen, you will see 345. Straight, promised. 7253, one of my favorites. Look for that in Georgia. You're watching out for 7590. Watch out for 1864. Extremely strong combinations. Ladies and gentlemen, 7598 and also 7599, Ohio. Your 8163 is your only number on fire, Rhode Island. 7591 is triple dollar signed. You should know New Mexico. 4793, watch out, Tennessee. And 3451, ladies and gentlemen, dropped in DC. 2 states before, 2 states after. There's your 1486, ladies and gentlemen. 1486 is Rhode Island. 1486 is Iowa. 1486 is Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, and North Carolina as well. 9620, Texas. Watch out for 4092, ladies and gentlemen. Your only number on fire. I promise you will see it over and over and over again. 0029, extremely strong combination. Ladies and gentlemen, you will see 2256 over and over and over again. Look for that number in Missouri and New Jersey. 5274, Rhode Island, for you flips and mirror people. Maryland and Puerto Rico, 8731-8371. You will see Missouri, 2 states before, 2 states after. 9220-9902, Virginia, New Jersey, all by way of North Carolina, 2 states before, 2 states after. 3718, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, I guaranteed that number would fall. Also, I promised 8173 would make its debut if you believed. Look out for that number in Missouri. 2 states before, 2 states after. 595, ladies and gentlemen, straight. Told you 719 to 725. 649, ladies and gentlemen, no matter what. I already indicated that. 856, your next no matter what. Watch out for 691 and 825. Those are guaranteed. 501 is going to be promised in the future, guaranteed right now. 928 is guaranteed. North Carolina numbers. There's your 388, ladies and gentlemen. I promised 388 would fall straight if you believed in my fire. 559, boom, boom, boom. 334, you will see 334 over and over and over again. Ladies and gentlemen, watch out for 902, no matter what. 738, ladies and gentlemen, 738. I made a promise to the VIP. 738 or 783 would fall straight. There it is right there. Boom, boom, boom. Y'all better leave me alone. 562, Georgia. You will see 210 over and over and over again. These numbers are by way of Florida. There is your 837. Boom, boom, boom. Ladies and gentlemen, I promised that number would fall. There's your 783, guaranteed that number would fall. 4697, look for that number in Indiana. Look for that number in Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire. 2 states before, 2 states after. You're going to see 8510-1508. You are going to see 2696 in Texas, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching out for 2394. How many times do I got to give you 2394 and tell you to run it in South Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, over and over and over again, New York? 2081 is a number to watch out for. There is your 8150. They pull 1508. Watch out for 8150. Kentucky, New York. There's your 0492. Boom, 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 boom. Watch out for 9503, Pennsylvania. Ladies and gentlemen, you will see 1830, one of my favorites, Rhode Island. Watch out for 9504 and 9924. Extremely strong combination. 9924 for Texas, Virginia. 2 states before, 2 states after. You will see 3015, Delaware. 9503, Delaware. And those numbers are by way of Michigan. 2 states before, 2 states after. Watch out for 50488. Ladies and gentlemen, you will see 906. Ladies and gentlemen, you will see 102. Triple dollar sign, no matter what. 412, you will see 915, no matter what. 258, and 123. These are by way of Michigan, 2 states before, 2 states after. I guaranteed 951. They pulled 915. Watch out for 951. 221, 131. You will see these combinations over and over and over again. 491, you will see 705. Ladies and gentlemen, 705 is extremely strong. Look for 705 in Missouri, Delaware. You'll see it in New York. You'll see it in Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, Iowa, Georgia. 302, no matter what. 301, no matter what. Missouri. 935, Indiana, Pennsylvania. 867, you'll see in Virginia and Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Georgia. Those are by way of Ohio. There is your 311. They drop 131. Look out for 311. I have triple dollar signs by 311. You got 9490, ladies and gentlemen. You will see that combination over and over. New Jersey, 2 states before, 2 states after. Watch out for 6079. You will also see 5818 over and over again. Look out for 8165 and 2509. Very strong combinations. Oh, 5871 is your only combination on fire. Your 0363 will be making its debut. That will be promised in the future. 5973, you'll see that number in Georgia. Watching out for 6130, watching out for 7177. Ladies and gentlemen, 9680 will be making its debut. 9285, you will see. Look for that number in Virginia. Look for that number in Tennessee. You're going to see 9860. You're going to see 405 deuce. Remember, 405 deuce is a Maryland, Puerto Rico, and New Mexico number. 9285 is a Virginia number. Also, don't leave out DC. 116, you will see. Ladies and gentlemen, 355, you will see Virginia. Watch out for 529, Pennsylvania. 921 is extremely strong. Kentucky, Indiana, and Pennsylvania. Texas, 560, ladies and gentlemen. I promise you'll see that number straight. Georgia. Ladies and gentlemen, 408. I promise you'll see that number. New Mexico and New York. 841, ladies and gentlemen, that number is guaranteed to make its debut. Also, 985, Virginia and Pennsylvania. There's your 408 once again. They drop 480, stay on 408. There's your 8710, ladies and gentlemen. Look for that number in Kentucky. 2 states before, 2 states after. You will see 5083, ladies and gentlemen. 5083 is a Delaware hookup. You will see 796 deuce. Extremely strong combination, Texas. 6298, ladies and gentlemen, 6298. You will see. Look for that in Virginia. You will see 996 deuce in Texas, heavy in Texas, also Virginia and New Jersey. You will see 6290 in the states I just mentioned. And 6301 is extremely strong, sum of 10, 1, and 19. 9083, no matter what. 990177, you're going to see 177 on fire. Ladies and gentlemen, 267 is extremely hot. Look for that in Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, Kentucky, Pennsylvania, Delaware. You will see 824, North Carolina, Tennessee, 927, Texas, 760, Michigan, 710, Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire. Watching out for 369. Those numbers are by way of Texas. There's your 927 straight. 927, I promised it would fall straight. Watch out for 773. Ladies and gentlemen, you will see 448 fall straight. 448. Boom, boom, boom. Ladies and gentlemen, you will see 844 fall straight. Boom, boom, boom. Watch out for 538. You will see 826, 854, 438. Your 438 is a boom, boom, boom. It dropped in DC. It dropped in North Carolina. Your 970 is a favorite. Boom, boom, boom. Watch out for triple fours. There's your 844 on fire. Boom, boom, boom. 1673. You will see 1673, ladies and gentlemen, extremely strong. Texas. Watching out for 1453, ladies and gentlemen, that's DC. 1453, I promised you would see. 9082, ladies and gentlemen, boom, 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 boom. 2089. 1454, ladies and gentlemen, you'll see that in North Carolina. 8131, watch out, watch out. 4125 has your triple dollar signs on it. 0982, boom, boom, boom. 2098, boom, boom, boom. 0385, boom, boom, boom. 6394, ladies and gentlemen, you will see 6394 in South Carolina. Watch out for 6350, extremely strong. You will see 1294. 1294, I promised would fall. Boom, boom, boom. New York, New York. So my New York member, you should have got that. 2 states before, 2 states after. Watching out for 6351. 6351, extremely strong. Ladies and gentlemen, you will see 1351. There's your 1294. I promised it would fall. Boom, boom, boom. I said you would see this number between the dates 718 to 725. I gave you specific instructions to just focus on my top four digits, which I promise my top two big money patterns will manifest from 718 to 725. I also guarantee it would debut in North Carolina. 550, ladies and gentlemen, 550, double dollar, signed it as proof. You would see it. 797, ladies and gentlemen, you will see 797. I need you to watch out for 854. How many times do I got to give you 854 before you believe me? 793 is no matter what. Ladies and gentlemen, you will see 061. Your 061. Texas, you will see 326. You will see 698. Look for that in Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Virginia. 520, no matter what. There's your 106. Boom, boom, boom. Promised. Watch out for 588, 255. 255 is extremely strong. You're watching out for 941 and 264. Ladies and gentlemen, you will see 416, 710, 158, and 56 deuce. These are by way of Florida. There's your 255 over and over again. Congratulations, IGHP 83, 2083. Ladies and gentlemen, you will see 2083 over and over again in Delaware. You're watching out for 0685, extremely strong combination. Ladies and gentlemen, 9471, you will see Indiana. You will also see 4689 over and over and over again. Watch out for 2091 in Virginia and Michigan. 1795, 1793 are on fire. There's your 9417 right there, ladies and gentlemen. Watch out for it. Seven nine seven four. You will see 7974 over and over again. Look for that in Indiana. 2 states before, 2 states after. 81607597. Boom, boom, boom. That's a promise. 6795, ladies and gentlemen, you will see 4683. You're going to see that number in Iowa. You're going to see it in Tennessee. 2 states before, 2 states after. Also, don't leave out Rhode Island. 552-101. 101 is on fire. 074, no matter what. Look for that in Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire. It's 968 you're going to see, ladies and gentlemen. 968 is a very strong combination. Watching out for 059, 461, 326, and 079. Those are by way of Georgia. There's your 461. 461, I promise, would fall straight. 669, 955. You're going to see 873 over and over again. I already explained that. 641 runs with that. Watch out for 310. I already promised that. 956 will be your next number. Look for that in Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, Pennsylvania. 954 and 964 you will see. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, I put a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of knowledge into these predictions. What you just saw was me doing a progress report, showing myself approved to do what I do. We're going to go for guarantees. Let me see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39. 39 guaranteed predictions for 720. I promised 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. 24 numbers I promised you would win if you invested and believed in the numbers that I indicate will be promised indications. Straight numbers, ladies and gentlemen, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 straight predictions for yesterday's date. Mm. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you're interested in joining my exclusive VIP group, go to dynamicpredictions.onrender.com, subscribe to a package, bring your receipt to dynamicallydriven@gmail.com. I will send you a link so you can join the Discord channel where you'll get the predictions before I even post them to here. You're going to be looking at 0901-2027-2677-1379. Four numbers, all states, especially the ones in red. Tennessee, Texas, Ohio, Michigan, Florida, North Carolina, and Georgia. And as you can see, if you would have just played those 7 states, you would have won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 times. That's not even including Texas because Texas didn't draw on Sunday. So you would have had the bulk of the promises and the bulk of the guaranteed numbers. You would have definitely hit all straight predictions. I will see everybody at the winner's table no matter what. I'll post this live to the VIP in the Discord. Abundant prosperity in health and in wealth to all who follow me and believe in the work that you see me accomplishing every single day.